We're smashing all your Christmas classics. It's a WrestleZone wrap-up for a Tuesday. We are a few days away from WWE TLC. Tables, ladders, and chairs, and speculation. Oh my. We'll get into all of it. Who is the mystery woman that could appear and replace Lana? Darby Allin over in AEW wants a little bit of the stardust, if you will, because he wants celebrities to show up in the show. A current Raw superstar does not like when veterans above him are stealing his maneuvers. Oh, backstage shenanigans and so much more on today's episode. What's up? I am Kev Kellum over there throwing a temper tantrum and throwing up the peace sign. Deuces from Tampa Bay, Florida. The site of last year's WrestleMania that didn't happen could be the site of the upcoming WrestleMania that could happen. Mr. Robert D. Felice. How you doing, Robert?
Kevin, I'm doing pretty darn swell. We don't know anything about whether or not it will be in Tampa. It certainly looks like it, does it?
Yes, it does.
Who knows?
WWE looks like they're going to buy a chunk of land. They're just going to build a theme park like Disney.
Listen, I will say this. They want that Hollywood, but The Rock's already said, I ain't doing it. So
is that for certain? I know that isn't one of our stories that we lined up for prepping today, but is that certain that Rock's not a part of it?
So he basically commented on an Arn Anderson quote from a podcast that said, don't do it next year because he would want to do it in front of people. And he basically said, Arn's a smart man.
Okay.
And also there was the story, I think it was from The Observer, that he wants to do it not this upcoming year, but 2022.
Yeah. I think we had that story last week. I think that's one of the weird things. Like when we do the wrap-up, guys, like our shows come out Monday through Thursday on non-pay-per-view weeks. Okay?
And on non-Meltzer days. Also.
And on non-Meltzer, we're always on the non-Meltzer days. And then we have Colin Tessier doing the SmackDown show Friday into Saturday, and then we'll have a pay-per-view week. So that I think that story came out on a non-pay-per-view week. So we're in the flow. We're on a pay-per-view week. We will be live after TLC on Sunday. So set those reminders and all those good things. We have shows for you after Monday Night Raw, Tuesday afternoons, after AEW NXT on Wednesdays. We are also dropping shows to cover Impact. We'll have that coming up as well. So 2 shows for you on Wednesday. And then Thursday, an extra long show to prep you for TLC. Plus, we'll be live after TLC. Plus, that isn't enough. We're throwing something extra in your stocking. A Hulk Hogan holiday watch-along of either Santa with Muscles or No Holds Barred, brother. We haven't decided yet. Let us know in the comments below what you think we should do. Let's get into the news of the day here. WWE TLC is this Sunday. It is on the WWE Network. Some changes were occurring last night on Monday Night Raw, and more news coming together. As that show went off the air, we have Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles in a TLC match for the WWE Championship. Randy Orton nearly burned The Fiend alive. They'll be in a match, just a normal match. They're trying to burn each other fire. Don't you think they should have an Inferno match? But that hasn't been announced. Now, one person that has gotten a lot of malign on the internet, Robert, is Lana, and she is off the card.
Yeah. This is dumb. So, like, I don't have a lot of fancy words. I know words. I have the best words, but what other word is there that's stupid? Like, I don't know here, Kevin. This is a very simple story. The story is Lana puts Nia Jax through a table after going through a table for 8 consecutive weeks. It's simple. It writes itself. You're going into the TLC pay-per-view. First mistake, they never bothered to announce that it was a tag team tables match. Second,
it's a tag team match. It is Asuka and Lana versus Nia and Shayna for the women's tag team titles. That was certain. But Lana got to take on Nia Jax, beat her with a little roll up off the second rope. I was like, that's an effective way for Nia to lose.
Miro says he taught Lana about pinfall one night.
I saw that with her face.
Yeah, so good on Miro, great trainer. Every day is Rusev Day, it still happens. So here's the thing. Carl Barmer commented, only TLC matches have been announced so far. There are no other stipulation matches. My favorite TLC pay-per-views, and Colin Tessier, by the way, on WrestleZone.com has been doing great features, reviewing all the past pay-per-views and talking about why gimmick pay-per-views need to go away entirely. TLC 2010 was a great show. Every match was either a tables, ladders, chairs, or TLC match. When they do it like this, where, all right, we've got 2 TLC matches, but that's it, I think you're leaving some money on the table. Where's that tables match for the women's tag titles? Why isn't Randy versus The Fiend a flaming tables match where you have to put your opponent through a flaming table? You can put them through regular tables all you want, but it's got to be flaming. Where is the, it's a chairs match between, I don't know, Buddy Murphy and Baron Corbin. You have rivalries. You have things you can do, but they're just not doing them. So now we have this Lana's off the card, which means this big baby face that you've been building towards may not.
She got beat up real bad. So she beats Nia, and then Shayna and Nia just brutalize her. They beat up her leg. They do the plant your arm down, and then we're going to step on your elbow maneuver. And Asuka took forever to get out there to save her, even though we knew she was watching backstage because they prepped it. That was weird. And then later on the night, they have Shane in the ring in her own separate singles match with Nia at her side, taking on Dana Brooke. That just breaks down into Mandy Rose returning, who got laid out by Nia and Shayna. She's back. So is Dana going to replace Lana? Is Mandy Rose going to replace Lana? And Asuka still has this title match against them as a tag team.
So that'd be dumb because Dana and Mandy are a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more ineffective way to kill a tag team than by doing that. The money has to say at this point, Charlotte Flair.
You're not the only person saying that. I know it took us probably too long to get into this video to say, is this how they bring back Charlotte Flair? More than a few people saying that in the chat. Matt Burdett saying, guessing that Charlotte returns, replaces Lana. One of the Bellas coming out of retirement to replace Lana. Well, we can write off the Bella thing. We can write off the Bella thing because the Bellas have said that they do want to come back and they do want to be a tag team and they do want to try and have a run at the women's tag team titles, but they don't see themselves doing it until their children that were just born. They just had they both each just had kids. Are a little bit older. They don't see that happening.
So they said either 2021 or 2022. Also, it would not make sense for a Bella to win the tag titles without said other Bella. This has to be Charlotte, and I just hate it. I know.
Why do you hate it? What's to hate about it?
Because the Riot Squad exists, and they need a tag title match. And
but they haven't been built up for one. They haven't been built up for a tag team title match.
So Asuka, who should be defending her own title, by the way, whatever happened to that 30-day clause? Never mind. I just don't understand why we have to go here. But there is a storyline build, so obviously there's always going to be tension between Asuka and Charlotte because Charlotte has yet to. Asuka has yet to beat Charlotte. Charlotte got taken out by Nia. There's a story there. There's a there, and it's an easy way to go.
And if you're watching, let us know who you want. We have plenty of people doing it. Hey, Rest Friend. Iridian Fierro, our friend from Rest Friend. Check out their channel on YouTube. They just put up a great video about gingerbread cookies and the shape of their favorite wrestlers.
Yes, they've been doing a Vlogmas. They've been doing skincare routines. They're reacting to WWE Christmas spots.
I need a skincare routine. I'll actually say that. That actually is like something I need to do that in the winter. My skin gets really beat up.
Kevin, self-care is important. But our Rest Friend, Iridian Fierro, says Naomi.
I think Naomi would be great.
Here's why I don't. Because again,
come on, Robert. We can't get Charlotte Flair. We can't get Naomi. Robert, honestly, what do you get you for Christmas?
No, we need to get Charlotte Flair because anybody who thinks that the women's division has been better off without Charlotte and Becky all this year is wrong. I'm sorry, you're wrong. Charlotte and Becky are stars. And Bayley's had a tremendous year over on SmackDown. However, that's over on SmackDown. Raw's been a little vacant. So we need Charlotte Flair. They win these tag titles. Charlotte completes the Grand Slam. Charlotte and Asuka at the Rumble in singles match for the championship. Rhea Ripley wins that Royal Rumble. We're off to the races with Rhea and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. The WrestleMania that never happened, that's going to basically happen again in the same venue. We're just going to run it back now. We're going to run it back.
Theme again? You got to do all the pirate stuff again?
They might even just do the pirate thing because we never saw anything of the pirate stage. We just saw the logo. So,
they have it built. They got it built. Like they have the props and everything, right? And they have that big pirate ship for the Buccaneers. We all said that like Io Shirai has to jump off the pirate ship.
now we don't even have Kyrie. We can't even get
Kyrie. We don't have Kyrie.
You know what though? How cool would it be? We haven't even discussed this idea, but like, why not? Hey, look, it's Kyrie.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
It'd be a great way to bring her back.
I'd be down for that.
Oh my god, if Kyrie came back and they just brought the Rainbow Warriors back together, I'd be way into that. Now I don't see that happening. She wanted to go back to Japan. I don't see that happening. You know, they wrote her off. They made it clear that she was written off.
They did make it clear. They did give her a little goodbye video, but it's a cool thing to at least discuss.
It is a cool thing to discuss. I do think WWE TLC overall is going to fall into the same pattern this pay-per-view on Sunday that I think a lot of WWE pay-per-views have fallen into for the better part of 2020. The build is mixed in quality, mixed in fan reaction, right? And then the show happens and people are like, oh, wow, that show was so much better than I thought it was going to be. And I do think we're going to get the same thing here. I do think we're going to get something momentous that builds to Royal Rumble in January. Don't know what it is, but I feel something. I feel like WWE's holding something for Sunday.
See, I don't think typically, and this is just me going based off of WWE in recent years, they typically don't do anything groundbreaking at TLC. They save that for either the end of the year shows or the beginning of the year shows. And I think at some point, Kevin, we've got to talk about the best built story going into TLC, and that's, again, Roman Reigns, who's been the best built story for the latter half of the year. And it's Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens. God bless Kevin Owens. He's got no chance in hell at winning this match.
He's no chance in hell. That doesn't mean the match won't be compelling.
Oh, no. If there's anything this match will be, it's compelling because it's Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens, and they will work their asses off to make you feel it. However, we get into this Royal Rumble WrestleMania season of who beats Roman Reigns. And right now, after the bump last Wednesday, it sounded a lot like Goldberg.
Of course, this was the bump last Wednesday. You and I were on air, I believe, last Tuesday together. And we've been touching on this. And then we get the follow-up from WrestleVotes, the always scooping, always reliable Twitter handle that has inside sources with WWE. And we find out that one of the planned matches for WrestleMania, whatever WrestleMania will be this year, coming up in 2021, is Roman Reigns versus Goldberg, which was supposed to happen at last year's WrestleMania. That didn't happen. Roman pulled out. Goldberg addressed that very casually from his house. He addressed that and also brought up that his spear is subpar. So he kind of didn't do any services to Roman's character by burying him in that regard.
Yeah.
But it's worth noting in that interview, it isn't something like he just interrupted them, brought it up. They saved that until the end. You know, he's out there promoting the Untold special about the streak. I watched that today. Good special. Just a very fun special.
I did as well. Maybe we can touch on that once we're
career. I saw a lot of people get really, really mad about it. It's one of the biggest stories we had this past week and a half, or even this month so far, was Goldberg alluding to this match. I wouldn't say alluded, he just says it's going to happen. Now, when it happens is important. My thing is, I don't even know if it needs to happen at WrestleMania. This could be one of those really big matches you do before or after WrestleMania. Maybe Goldberg is a part of that, but he's Goldberg. If you're going to have Goldberg come back, you're going to have him come back on the biggest shows of the year. I don't know what to think of it. I think it could be one of those things that could be better than what people give it. If they're building up to spear versus spear, that's something we've kind of already seen to some degree with other people.
It's weird because last year, or really this year, they did this week build up. This is back when we still had people and like the world was quote unquote normal, where it was just like, hey, I'm champion now. Who's gonna fight me? And Roman just comes out and looks at him, and it was like, okay, that's happening now. Then of course COVID happened. This match needs to go down, and again, it sounds like they're just gonna run back WrestleMania 36 at WrestleMania 37, but I don't know if this is good, and here's why. Goldberg has to win. I'm a big believer in the babyface should win at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a cool thing. Goldberg should not be the guy to beat Roman Reigns. He shouldn't. He doesn't need it. We don't need to establish this thing that, like, hey, here's Roman Reigns who's gonna wreck crap all over the roster. Who can save him? I know, Old Man Bill. We're gonna get the legend of Old Man Bill back. It's like, come on.
The legend of Old Man Bill.
You know what would be
That's
really
right.
cool?
He used to spear men out of the boots back in 97.
That's what it feels like sometimes. You know, he was the guy to beat Brock Lesnar when nobody beat Brock Lesnar for 2 years after Brock broke the streak. Goldberg came in and did it in like a minute and a half.
It was cool. And it worked in 2014 they did that?
That was 2017.
That they did banger business. Ratings went up.
They did banger business, and I understand that I'm speaking for the subsection of fans that actually watch the product, and I know that can't always be their steady market, but you're also sending the worst message about your roster. You just are. If Roman Reigns looks at everybody on the roster as a joke, and then again, they got to run it back with Bill, or Bill can just come in and wreck shit. It's like,
I also get the point though of like unfinished business. Like there is a story there. It's a match that didn't happen that was supposed to happen.
I would argue.
I get it, but it's easy to argue it. Go ahead.
I would argue if this is Big Dog Roman, if this is like 2015, 2016 Roman, do the match. Let Goldberg beat him. But this
is a completely different Roman than one we had even going into last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, this Roman Reigns is untouchable. And if you just go, hey, Goldberg beat him, then it makes the Rock match look weaker. It makes every other match with Roman look weaker. I think you do it in Saudi Arabia. If they're allowed to travel to Saudi Arabia, you do it in Saudi. You let Roman
That
win.
is a big Saudi match. That would be, and that's a Saudi match. You know what? I would want. The thing is, if it's not a WrestleMania, I'm into it. My thing is, I just think I agree with you. There's somebody they could get to at WrestleMania. It could be good. It's certainly a marquee match. It has value. It has value to casual fans. I don't think the value on paper of saying Goldberg versus Reigns means less because you're like, oh, well, I just think you could do other things. It's true. And there's other stories you could do with the idea of that there's other people that think they deserve it more than him. I think the fact of the matter is, yeah, you brought it up already. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns are going to have the most compelling match, but we know how it's going to end. And it's going to be, you want Kevin to give it to him. You want Roman Reigns to be knocked off his hubris mountain of his own ego that he's built here. But it's not going to happen, but you're still on the ride and you're so invested in this new character. And I think the match everyone wants is The Rock versus Roman Reigns, but we already talked about it here a few minutes ago. It's not going to happen this year. Rock's going to wait until there's fans. He's going to wait until they can fill an arena, and maybe there are some fans, but we're definitely not going to have a full football stadium for WrestleMania. At least that's the way it's looking right now. So if you want to say, that's the thing about the you need an attraction, and Goldberg is an attraction. I get it. I don't hold it against WWE for doing this because who else is in that spot? Who's ready to go right now?
Okay, see. Here's where I'm going to just show my nerddom and drop a ridiculous fact on you, and that's WWE hasn't built a WrestleMania main event around just two guys that are on their full-time roster since 2009.
Wow.
They have been relying on part-time guys or guys that are just not there after WrestleMania for the last decade. At some point, WrestleMania almost becomes like the Oscars, where you're just like, this is this big thing that, hey,
and only these certain type of people get to be in the big matches at the big thing.
Right. And like, look, I know that you are going to watch the Avengers, but here's The Shape of Water and maybe these other films that are like great Academy Award films that you might not even know, but they're here because they represent more of the overarching importance of the industry. And
that makes sense.
That's fine, but like, bro, you got a full roster, and you got some dudes. You got Big E Langston, and the man likes to be called Langston. I don't know if you ever listened to the podcast. He wants his last name back, and it's amazing. Now here's Big E wants to wrestle Goldberg. Can we get that going? That would be.
Why aren't we getting Riddle versus Goldberg? They have unfinished business.
They have business that Goldberg doesn't want to start. is what they have. Like,
oh man, yeah. You get a certain look of Goldberg. We mentioned it here. This Untold special that's out, and it's really him talking about the development of the streak in WCW and why it was so special, and why it became such a sensation for WCW. And there are some the testy moments with Kevin Nash in there.
Everything with Kevin Nash is testy.
And Kevin Nash certainly has some things he says about Bill Goldberg that I don't think are the worst things I've ever heard, but they
that are accurate. And it's Kevin Nash, and I'll go full mark here. Kevin Nash is great because I don't believe, even though people will tell you Kevin Nash is full of crap, every time I've heard him talk, I'm like, I believe that. That sounds like it's rooted in reality.
Yeah.
And basically what Kevin Nash says, first of all, is, hey, look, you were at like 2-0, and then 7 days passed, and you're at 15. That, first of all, it doesn't make sense. And then he talks about how ridiculously overbooked the main event of Starrcade was, and how, and
then Goldberg puts it. We're not going to give it away. It's on the network right now. It's a very great special. If you love going deep into retrospective things, they do a very, very good job of this. And also, they put the highlights together perfectly. So
it's a very well done piece. I'll say this: Goldberg openly talks about not having a clue about whether or not he should have even been the one to say when the streak should end. He just knows he didn't like what happened.
True. Yeah, there's some wishy-washy things where he's like, I don't have any, I'm not the booker, but I get there, I'm going to tell you it sucks. So there's definitely some like, all right, this, then you're saying this, then you're saying this. It's like, it's still pretty cool though. If you enjoy Goldberg, if you enjoy WCW stuff, this is a must-watch. So go check it out. Thumbs up on that. One more WWE story to talk about. We do have an AEW story, which is pretty big story here. Pretty interesting thing, a pretty provocative statement by an AEW talent to say here. Elias been making some news. He returned to Monday Night Raw last night with Jackson Riker as his new bodyguard. I heard a lot of people not fond of that. He's a goon. You're not supposed to like what heels do. That's just the way I feel about it.
My issue with that is, like, Elias don't need no bodyguard. Elias is huge.
Elias don't need no bodyguard. Your Florida came out.
Elias, I don't know where that came from because I'm not even from Florida.
Elias don't need no bodyguard. Old man Bill, go out there and spare him.
I've been here for way too long, unfortunately. But Elias is huge. What does Elias need a bodyguard for? Elias is a massive man. I understand wanting to do something with Jackson Riker, but I don't know if that's the way to go.
Elias, in a recent interview with Lillian Garcia, Chasing Glory, it's available on the network, available as a podcast as well, says only good things come from working with The Undertaker, but there was a time in his career he used to get upset about veterans taking spots away from new talent. We talk about, old stars coming back for the big show of the year. And he kind of emphasizes that, like, you have Cena, you have Undertaker, those are guys that need to be a part of WrestleMania. But you're going to be working with some very good people coming up here. Treasure that. So that's kind of what he gets told here, that you should be happy to work with these people. But at the same time, he's also like, come on, like, give me the run that I think I've earned. So this kind of plays in what you're talking about earlier.
Yeah, and Elias is well within his right. And here's the thing. People who make a stink about that, I think, are more likely to be utilized. Because nobody ever talks about it. Like, CM Punk made a stink about it and then was subsequently utilized for the next 3 years as one of the top stars. Whether or not they wanted him there, irrelevant. He was in that position.
Yeah. It makes a little bit more sense when he kind of lays this out. He goes, this is going to sound selfish or like something like that, but with these guys around, guys like Undertaker, Kane, Shawn Michaels, when they would come back, I would get personally offended by that. The reason would be I should be in there with those guys, learning from them, and they should be passing that knowledge, or that they should be there because it's a new guy's time. That's how I felt. I had a little bit of anger. I wouldn't say a little bit. It sounds like a lot more towards the generation or whatever it may be. I'm getting the loudest reactions I'm the new guy. I'm the young guy. Here comes these guys, and they take spots at WrestleMania. They take spots at big pay-per-views. Elias is shoved to the side for whatever reason. I had anger about that. I thought, can they not just help out or step aside, whatever it may be? Then I saw the Last Ride documentary, and you come off to find out how he's aware of that as well. So he's kind of referencing Undertaker and other people kind of hanging on to the always coming back for a big spot moment. And this kind of lays into other things we have here. But this is WrestleMania, and this is something that fans want. They want these big stars back at these shows.
Yes. And I have been very vocal about, I don't like the way Undertaker retired. I don't. And it should be undone and redone because
you know it can be. They did it at Survivor Series. You know it can be. It can be undone, and then everyone will get mad for we'll get with the blast of retweets for a week, and then I'll come back and no one will complain.
But I think it's time. Don't get me wrong, but you can't retire him in front of nobody. How dare you? That seems almost like an injustice towards the Undertaker. Does that being neither here nor there, Elias he's right. It's got to be frustrating when you're busting your ass day in and day out. It's a little different now because everybody just does their show and goes home. But when you're in that grind and then it's like, oh, and by the way, here's Goldberg. So Braun Strowman's just going to go home to Wisconsin for WrestleMania because he doesn't have a match. That's a real thing that would have happened. And I understand the frustration there.
They had the whole documentary on him in that weird scenario of him just being on the shelf before WrestleMania. And now it's, let's get you in a plane. Let's get you flown out. Let's get you tested. Let's get you in the big title match at WrestleMania. You're beating Goldberg, and that's because Roman Reigns wasn't going to be there. So it's a very testy situation. And my thing is this year, I just want some form of a WrestleMania that feels like a WrestleMania. That's it. That's all I'm asking for.
I think you can apply that to anything. And
everything.
It's just that's what we want.
So maybe I'm just an ass here in my Thunder Zone. All right, with my lights, shaking my lights, wanting some form of normalcy. So big names on a marquee at WrestleMania. I'm okay with it. There's some things I'm not going to hold this to the same standard. I'm okay with it, So let's move on to AEW. They're still rolling off some big rating success with Winter is Coming. Their new AEW World Champion, Sting, back in the fold. But a big thing about their rating success last week, nearly cracking 1 million, probably cracking 1 million multiple hours of the show, was Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal, big NBA great, a part of Inside the NBA on TNT, where they're broadcasting. He's involved in an angle. Seems like he's going to second Jade Cargill against Brandy Rhodes. Don't know how fans feel about that, but the celebrity rub is there. Darby Allin, the skateboarding gothic lunatic TNT champion, says he wants more celebrity involvement in AEW. Go on there. I got scam likely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Those are the only ones who are calling. Here's the thing. Darby Allin not only said that, where he said he'd like to do more with Tony Hawk and he'd like to do more with Steve-O. He also said that he doesn't care that they're not in the industry and they come in and take spots because he said
complete opposite of Elias.
Half of the wrestlers now are jokes. And I thought that's an interesting take from Darby Allin. Because you can say anything you want about Darby being small, Darby being anything, but Darby...
Is he saying that about other people on his roster?
I believe that he is, because, you can say what you want about Darby. Darby's really, really good, and he does take his character really, really seriously. You can argue that a lot of the stuff he does is dumb, but he takes it seriously, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. I think he's got an interesting take, because not only did he say that in this interview, Jim Ross made some headlines last week when he basically said, I think the dive spots are stupid. You all just stand there, huddled up, and then you catch some idiot who's not even going to win with the dive that he just hit. Mm-hmm. And Darby Allin said, hey, look, I agree with Jim Ross. I love Jim Ross, and I agree with him. You know, Darby Allin's got an interesting mentality for wrestling.
Yeah. And there's just this sense in AEW where part of it is they think they're getting the pass with a lot of fans because they're fresh, they're new, and they're exciting to people. And at the same time, there is this division as to what they are. Are they everything for everybody? I think they're trying to go for that. I think they're trying to be a lot of different things for a lot of different fans at the same time. And then at the same time, you have a veteran mind that is widely respected, believed to be the best play-by-play guy, one of the top talent relations names in the company and in any company, in Jim Ross. And here he is on television saying, why are we doing this? Why is there a referee that's going to have some order? Is the other things? He's making a great point. And then you have a young talent who's saying it, but I don't think that's going to stop anything in AEW. I don't think it's going to reel in the horses. I don't think you're going to stop seeing matches like that do those type of things on Wednesday nights on Dark. I think you're going to stop it. And I would say the problem is a lot of talent in AEW that I think kind of files into that category. And not many of them, when they file into that category, get to stand out outside of that unless they do a lot of work to get them back to being a character. So I think that's kind of what he's saying. He makes a great point. And is that a problem for them long term?
No. And here's why. They're very aware of it. And if push came to shove, I feel, now I have no prior knowledge. I want to make that clear because I don't want people saying, well, the WrestleZone guy said this. I think, though, the people that are at the very tip top in that company, they know. And at any moment, if they get really sick of it, they'll just flip the switch. Because they know. They know that, like, not everything can be Orange Cassidy. And Orange Cassidy is fantastic. He, to me, is an S-tier level guy. But he's one in a million. You can't have half the roster be that.
Speaking of AEW, they did some fun stuff for the holidays. WWE did their good Let's Dropkick 2020 viral video yesterday. AEW put out their own reenactments of the classic A Christmas Story, which will replay on the Turner channels on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It's what they do every year. And that's how it's become a cult classic. You'll Shoot Your Eye Out, Ralphie. Not a big movie when it came out at theaters. Became a cult classic after that.
Yeah, that's one of those movies. I've seen this movie so much. For me, it's okay.
Favorite scene. Your favorite scene in the movie?
You'll Shoot Your Eye Out.
You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. My personal favorite is when Ralphie and the family have picked up the tree and they're driving back in the car and the tire blows out. And Ralphie gets out of the car and his mom says, go help your dad. He says, I get to help my dad. I get to be a real man and help my dad. And he goes out there and he has the nut bolts and the hubcap and they go flying up in the air. And he goes, and I yelled, oh, fudge. Except I didn't say fudge. I said the swear, and it's the ultimate swear word, and the whole going home and soap in the mouth. And that happened to me. I got soap in the mouth a couple times as a kid.
Yeah.
Now look at me, Mom. Look at me using my mouth to make my money. So that happened.
Hi, Kevin's mom, if you happen to be watching. Hello.
This is my friend Robert.
You raised a fine boy.
Yeah, those are my personal favorites of it. Speaking of a holiday classic, should we watch Santa with Muscles? Or should, as you suggested, you said maybe we should do No Holds Barred, the recent sad passing of Tiny Lister. Most of us know him as Zeus. You brought up that WWE did a pay-per-view of the movie with an extra match. Like 2 days after Christmas, like 87, 88.
Yeah, that's 89. And Vince I brought it up because it's just Vince going, why have a Merry Christmas when you can have a no holds barred?
Okay.
Okay. All right, Vince, you put 5 seconds of thought into that. But you're delivering it, so it's great.
I love how his voice goes from very much an announcer to I love that. I love it. I love it. It's the best. He should do more VO. They should have him do more VO. I want to hear him do more. Yeah. Tables, ladders, and chairs. Like I just want to hear it. Like when you would do the Royal Rumble. You remember the one video for the Royal Rumble introduction? Yeah. And it's like the Royal Rumble. And he just yells everyone's. I love it. I don't know what it is. It feels good. It's popcorn for the ear, man. It feels good. I'm on the fence. Sand with Muscles, I've never seen. I've never heard good things about it. But No Holds Barred, a ridiculous movie.
No Holds Barred at this point is cult classic.
Yeah.
You know, it's not good. I've seen No Holds Barred several times because you get bored and you just start watching Hulk Hogan ask people what that smell is, and it's just funny. Somebody watched that and thought, this is such good shit. And if you say that out loud, you'll realize who it was.
Also, in that scene, that's like the Hulkster, rip him. We're gonna rip him, dude. We're gonna rip him right there. You gotta get the finger out. Get that finger out. So it's like an R. That's what it's supposed to be. So in that scene, he beats up a bunch of goons, and his limo driver is in on the goons trying to beat up Rip, right? To get him to sign with this other rival wrestling promotion. And he picks up the crooked limo driver, set him up, and the man pees his pants. But even me as a kid, I was like, I knew the difference between peeing your pants and pooping your pants. All right. Now, Dookie would imply that one is poop their pants.
Yes.
So you telling me in the presence of the snarling hulk of a man that you have not only peed your pants, but you have also pooped your pants.
Yeah, he basically died for a minute and came back to life. That's what happened. You know, just that is the thing. That's what happened.
You are covered in sweat. The snarling hulk of a man has you up by your heels, and he has made you completely evacuate your balls and bladder in his presence. That's power. That's over, brother. That is real power. All right. So if you want to see that, or you want to see a Hulk Hogan in 1996 play a crooked man who is hiding as Santa Claus, I've read the premise. I haven't seen a lick of it. You seen any of Santa with Muscles?
I have not seen any of Santa with Muscles, but just so we're clear, this is the movie that Hulk Hogan was filming before he came back to join the NWO.
All right. So there's some people saying we should have a No Holds Barred Christmas and yelling Dookie. All right. So let us know what you think in the comments below, even if you're not watching live. If you're listening on the podcast side of things, hit us up on Twitter at WrestleZone.com because we want to do it. We got to know soon because I think we would want to try and do this sometime next week to make this work, or possibly sometime this weekend if we're gonna do it right. So let us know. I want this to work. I do believe you can watch Santa with Muscles on Vudu for free. And you can watch No Holds Barred on Hulu. We can do a watch party thing on Hulu too as well. So it's a weird scenario. I'm either one. I'm fine. I think we dropped the big leg drop in either one of these, but I'm okay with it. Robert, what else do you got going on, bud?
Oh, I'm over on Fightful.com. I'm over on SmartGutMoment.com. I've got a lot going on in the world of wrestling. I do.
I've got a lot going on. I'm a real career-oriented woman.
I just do. It's very weird. Somebody asked me, I played Among Us the other day on a Fightful stream, and I basically just ended up saying, listen, if it's on the internet and it's wrestling, I'm there. Like, I'm somewhere in that mix, and I don't know how that happened, but yes, follow me on Twitter at DukeFelice. Check out Fightful.com, Fightful Select. Check out Smart Gut Moment and all their stuff. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Hopefully you'll be joining us on this Impact Post Wrestling show that we get to cover here in a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We'll have you on there.
To be clear, I very much enjoy my time.
Oh, dude, we and those have been some of our best shows recently,
and they've been so much fun.
Oh, go and watch the final 5 minutes of the one we did last week, even if you know what already happened. So Bill Pritchard, managing editor, boss man Bill Pritchard of WrestleZone, and I just give Robert a heaping pile of crap at the end of the show for his dalliances with other wrestling websites, and we just had a real fun time with it.
Yeah, it's true. I wear it on my sleeves. I am for the money, money.
De Niro de La Feast. That's what he is, dude. Rod De Niro de La Feast. You can check me out on 101wkqx.com, 101wkqx.com/Kevin. We have a big event. I'm wearing the shirt right now. Look at that.
The Nights We Stole Christmas. You mean 101 WKQX's annual Christmas Spectacular?
Oh, the Christmas Spectacular we would normally have at the Aragon, but we can't on account of things that you're already aware of.
I know it's typically in a ballroom, but this year it'll be virtual for everybody.
Oh, it's almost like you've heard this plug before. December 23rd. It's going down December 23rd, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Glass Animals, Cold War Kids, Wallows. 3 really great bands. They could play Lollapalooza. They could play Governor State. They could play Coachella. Can we have those things? No, we're having this. I've been aware of how they film these. It'll look really cool. It'll feel really cool. And special guests. The amount that I want to tell you who these special guests are, it's insane. Okay, so after this happens, if you follow alternative music online and you have your alerts for different bands you like, you will hear about this. So be on the ground floor. This is like, I know this is going to be an awesome thing. If you love modern music, modern rock music, modern alternative music, big popular music, you love this too. This is gonna blow the doors off it. I can't tell you who these people are, and you're gonna be surprised. I'm only paying $17.50 for this. So $17.50, that's money you would spend at a bar, right? You can't go to a bar now, so go and spend it at home. It's the 23rd. It's a Festivus for the rest of us, and you don't have to have your feats of strength. You don't have to do your airing of grievances. You just sit back and enjoy the show. And also, you get it for 48 hours too. So if it's something where you can't watch it that day, maybe you want to save it for Christmas or the 24th. So you have a 48-hour window on it, which is really, really cool. Makes it a little bit more flexible. And go get it. $1 from every ticket goes to volunteermatch.org, a great organization, and their effort, Project Shine, to get people connected with charitable organizations to get us going again, to get America climbing up the ropes. Come on, gotta shake them ropes, America. Gotta shake them ropes. All right. Gotta round up. Gotta get that needle in the arm because the vaccine's coming, baby. And it's gonna be 1-2 punch, big boot, leg drop, 2021. Pin him to the mat. All right. That's what's happening here. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. So if I get this, yeah, we are not saying. I just need to make this clear that if you get this vaccine, you turn into Hulk Hogan. There's no Fu Manchu that grows on your face. We're just saying
my beard falls off. And it becomes a Fu Manchu, 25-inch pythons. I get skin as Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny. So I get skin like a hot dog. like it's gonna be all right. We're rocking.
I mean, we are just saying that Nights We Stole Christmas is a great way to spend your Christmas weekend.
Mm-hmm.
2021 is coming. There will be concerts again. There will be wrestling again. There will be gatherings at some point by the end of 2021 without masks again. It's going to be great. It's going to be a good time. But the thing is, Kevin, when you're watching wrestling, and we do a lot of that. I do that way too much for a living. But when you're doing that, you got to do one thing.
What's that?
Air your grievances on the internet because it is the internet. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of problems with you people, and I'm going to tell you about it. but after you get that negativity out of your system, Kevin's mother, who we established was watching the show earlier in the episode,